Why don't we start with simply asking how this piece, The Life and Times, The Life and Death of Marina Abramovich came about?
In the early 70s, I met Marina in Belgrade, and since that time we've talked about working together. And at the end of the 60s in New York, at the Whitney Museum of American Art, there was an exhibition. There was a summation of the art from the 60s. It was called Art Without Illusion. And I thought a lot about that, and I thought, well, what's wrong with illusion? And I had been a part of the performance art scene in New York and performing in alleyways and galleries, Judson Church, and various venues, found spaces. And I decided that I wanted to go into the proscenium arch, the traditional theater, where the space is really two-dimensional, where there's a side that's hidden and a side facing the audience. And very different than performing where something is viewed 360 degrees. And through the years, Marina from time to time would ask me if I would like to collaborate with her on her work and do something with her. And I always said, well, I'd really gone in a different direction. I was not interested in performing in a museum or a found space. That I had gone into the proscenium box and was interested in a formal theater where one thought about speech and light and makeup and costume, and the whole world was very artificial. And Marina was really interested in something that was very real. And some years ago, she'd approached me again and she said, would I direct a work about her life? And at first I was very reluctant. And I said, well, if I did, I would like to put it in an opera house, a proscenium stage. She wanted to be in it. I said, but Marina, this would be a completely different experience for you. It would be 2 hours of makeup, and you have to think about how you walk on stage, how you speak, and etc. Anyway, so I was really hesitant, and then she called me again. She said, there's another thing I'd like to ask you. She said, would you design my funeral? I said, I want to be buried in Belgrade, Amsterdam, and New York. And the service happened at the same time. There'd be 3 bodies, and nobody would know who the real one is. So I said, wow, that sounds like a great idea. Why don't I accept to do The Life and Death of Marina Abramovich, and we could start with your funeral. She said, great, then I can see what it'll look like. So I've been a very big admirer of Willem's for many years. From time to time we would meet and talk about possibly working together. And so I immediately said, and I would like to work with Willem. And she said, oh, that's great, I know him and admire him. So that's pretty much how it started.
But then I asked one more Abramovich question, which is, what is your character in that anyhow? Are you a devil, are you a trickster, or are you what are you?
All of them, no? I don't know. It's a fluid thing. I'm a function. I'm a thing. And the truth is, I like being a thing. I like being a force. Because then it's more flexible. You don't, it doesn't remind you of anything. I mean, of course it does. People are going to say, oh, that makeup's like the Joker, but that's a lazy imagination.
Well, that's also a force.
So, I don't know what I am. I know what I do in the show, and, I just sort of surf that wave.